He was so proud of Majaz, depended on him about not only his health problem but his life in general. I know he loved him as much as Amir, if not more. Majaz is an internist, neurologist, researcher, a professor at University of Massachusetts, a deep thinker, aggressive in a positive way, doctor, an all-time favorite of the family. Ahmad Raza, please come and say a few words.
Well, everyone has said a lot of good things about Chachu and Mr. Ahmad Raza, as you know. I will sort of go back into time a little bit and talk about things that we haven't talked about yet. I remember when I was 4 years old, when he first came to our house to do his master's in economics and law in Aligarh. And from that point onwards, it was some sort of child's instinct to grab onto someone who was the most loving person in that lot, which included my father, my mother, my older uncle, Dr. Ahmad Raza, and my younger uncle, Mr. Ahmad Raza. Since then, we were inseparable, but we had a cyclical relationship in terms of we stayed together for some time, then parted again for 5 or 6 years, met again, and every time we met, there was some interesting event that happened. And I would like to relate a couple of those events because of shortage of time right here. Well, I obviously don't remember my first birthday where he was present, but beyond that, my first recollection was when he was there were rumors about his getting married. And I said, why is he getting married? Who's taking him away from me? Who's taking the time away from me? And then I found out it was my own aunt, Shakila Khala, who was my cousin. So my mother's cousin who was going to take him away. And we used to have heated battles every evening that you cannot take my uncle away. This is not done. This is not right. Well, she won in the end, needless to say. So that was my first recollection of Chachu, as my loss, her gain, but we sort of reconciled. The second time that we met was again, after finishing school, I went into medical school, and Chachu went to Bombay, and we lost contact in terms of meeting regularly. We sort of kept in touch in an informal way. When I just finished my medical school, and he came to Delhi one day, and I found him a little short of breath, and I was a little concerned because I had just passed my medical school. I thought I knew everything that there was to know about medicine, and so I said, well, let's get you tested right now. And sure enough, he had restricted pulmonary functions, and so I sent him a letter the next day and said, you are not well. And so he was smoking a pipe, and if I believe his wife, which I have no reason not to believe, Shakila Khala said that he took the pipe, wrote the date on it, and said that Tinku has asked me that from today onwards I should not smoke. And that pipe remained in his showcase up to now. So that was the second time that we had this discussion. We've had many interactions after he came here. He and I came here about at the same time. And he was not just my uncle, he was my friend, he was my older brother. He gave me all the confidence and the warmth that I needed that you need in a strange country when you first come here. What he essentially, I remember another funny incident is that I came here, I wanted to drive because I knew how to drive, and I wanted a car, and I didn't have either the money, the resources, or the place to look for a car. So I promptly handed over the responsibility to him, and he, of course, passed it on to his 2 capable children. And Simi was given the predominant responsibility of finding a car for me. Well, after many weeks of research, they did find something for me, which was a Toyota Corolla, I believe. It had a really strange brown color, which the entire family nicknamed as the DBT. And what DBT stood for was the dirty brown Corolla. And for a fact, this car, actually, hats off to her, found, that lasted me for 5-6 years till I managed to find enough money to buy another car. So we had that. And then my last moments with him were sad and yet uplifting, because 2 days before he went into his septic shock and he was hospitalized, he finally called me. Knowing that I was going through a very difficult time, he didn't call me for a couple of days, but then when he called me, he said that, this is what is happening to me. I said, you must be in the ER right now. And you should go by an ambulance. So he did. He of course told me he went by ambulance, which he didn't. He asked somebody who was in his house to take him to the ER, and he said, when he asks you, don't tell him. So he was there, he was doing okay, but then unfortunately on day 3 he went to septic shock, and we all know the history from there on. The second time when he went into this septic shock and I went and met him, and he opened his eyes, he listened to music, he did a lot of things, but at the end of it, I said, don't you dare call me back here again. This is the last time I'm coming to do this. You're costing me too much money. Each time you call me, I have to fly immediately, and those tickets aren't cheap. And he sort of laughed at that, and he maintained his sense of humor to the very end, and tried his best not to give his family, friends, or anyone else who was close to him any sort of problems or concerns, and trusted everybody's decision to do the right thing. We may have had a difference of opinion on how we should have managed him, but that has nothing to do with. Every time we asked him in his first few times when he was ill, how he would like to go on, because it's a difficult path ahead, and he would say, I will want to go on. In fact, cancel my insurance by paying so much premium. Right now I'm not driving my car. So he was conscious, he was thoughtful, and he was talking about the Aligarh Society, and we were talking about how he would go and do things further on. But of course, those things were not to come. So, in the end, all I would say is that we've only all said it, that he was a wonderful person, and he brought something to the lives of anyone he touched. And some silly poets sometimes recite a couple of couplets which were that कि मौत से जिंदगी की अजीब यारी है, कल तुम्हारी थी आज बारी हमारी है.